So we're dating back to summer of 2003, right? I was really my second job out of college. I spent some time at Fidelity Brokerage for a while, year and a half, just working summers, and literally it was after college and hit the ground running. At the time, we're a small upstart. I believe we were the sixth exchange, second all electronic, launching 2004. So I was on the team pre-launch and just got a sense of, from the market operations desk point of view. So we're responsible for, all the participant testing, configurations, all the fine tuning that happens when you do a technical deployment. So we launched in 2004, which was interesting, right? The world was migrating from a floor space to electronic. And then time of history goes on, and then we were the pioneer in price improvement. So Box has always been, and that's one of the most exciting things of working for Box. We've always been innovative of what we do. And we have great people around us, whether it's the participants or our staff. And we're always looking at things with that lens of how to make markets better. So I learned a lot, on the market operations side for a few years, and then I kind of, once you get a sense of the level of technology and how the nuts and bolts of the company work, then I pivoted into business development, right? So more out there, going to the order flow providers, market makers, and our trading participants, and just spreading the word of how things work, what the technology looks like, and then from there, you develop market structure awareness and skills, and you combine that with technology, right? And you get a sense of the needs of the market, and that was a certain skill set, right? And then from there, you can take it away and figure out these incremental changes that we need to make to position Box. So I spent a few years in business development, and then we added technology into that at the same time. For several years, the TMX group, or Montreal Exchange, was also we outsourced our technology to them. So I managed that relationship. And 4 years ago, we actually spun up our own technology team as well. So just to go through for market ops, business development, and then I was the COO. So it really was the melting pot of everything in the company, and then ultimately becoming CEO, which I'm very fortunate to be. That's how I opened up, right? So basically when we launched, right, we went from electronic, floors were closing, volumes were decreasing, everything went into algos. And then before you knew it, there was always a need for the floor. And we saw that. It's about 10% of the OCC volumes. And we've innovated that space as well. So it is full circle, right? Right, so if you date back to 2003, right, you had the old Boston Stock Exchange. They were a regional exchange for 100 and something years. I think they're the second or the third oldest exchange. It was the BSE, it was Interactive Brokers, Thomas Petterfee, and Montreal Exchange. And the whole idea was to compete, to offer a market that was, a competing market maker structure, which was different compared to the specialists and other liquidity provider structures that were available. We were price time. We were the first to be price time electronically, and also the price improvement. That was really the focus and objective of Box, was to change market structure and provide opportunity for customers to receive executions. Remember, things were traded in nickels and dimes back in the day. So obviously we've brought value to the market there. There's been some smaller minority parties that have kind of changed hands, but the core constituents still exist today. Well, obviously the ADVs have increased, over 100% in the last couple of years. So obviously with those volume levels, there's going to be operators that want to come in and add venues. Our philosophy if you look at what we do under one SRO medallion, I think we're catering to, we have these niches in the market, and we do a lot with the single SRO structure. And that's innovative. But to a certain degree, we're at a competitive disadvantage because the things that we're the hybrid model. So when we choose to compete in something, we typically have higher market share in what we choose to compete in. So there's a whole subset of order flow that's out there that might not be profitable to operate. So it's whether, do you want to capture market share, or do you want to have market share and a return in the enterprise? And I think we struck a balance of what we could do, accomplishing critical mass market share and having a profitable business. But more importantly, adding value to the industry, which really aren't additional products. They're just expirations that have already, they're weekly options at the end of the day. But listen, there's demand. We've seen these things are trading, and ultimately there's demand, and I think that the industry is supporting that demand and pushing the risk through the system. And it seems like things are in an equilibrium between how these options trade on expiry. I think that we've heard whispers of a recent election in Chicago with a certain transaction tax that would be imposed on floor transactions, specifically to $1 or $2 per contract. Whether or not that gets off the ground and ultimately gets voted and passed through the local government. Although it might seem unlikely, strange things happen. So I think that obviously we have a floor presence there. So and we're not alone. There's another floor there as well. So I think it's something that the industry has to take seriously.
Okay.
Because that has the potential to have net impact of significant monetary repercussions. Not necessarily the issue with recent bank failures, right? I think that, I'm not an economist, but I think that the banking structure is sound. I think it's interesting the rate of what happened, right? You had, first of all, it was bad management that led to the situation, bad risk management. What comes out of that might be additional regulation for those institutions. But it's just amazing to see how fast that people were able to react to that news and quickly transfer out, which exacerbated the issue, right? It just seemed like the word got out, and obviously it was a run. But the way that people are able to move things around now at point and click, and all of a sudden you have billions of dollars that are just quickly exiting a financial institution. That certainly creates a risk. I think it's just amazing. It's a great time. We say at these conferences all the time, retail's never had it better. Just the amount of sophistication and the availability of these tools at your fingertips. It's truly amazing. And I think that's accelerating some of the volume growth that we see. It's just the ability to quickly react to the market and be presented with the trading opportunity and have the information and knowledge to execute it within seconds. Yeah, it's an evolution. I think the industries you have to look at the workflows there, but I think in general the industry is already more from the exchange point of view. We're already supporting real-time clearing in terms of how we transmit our executions to OCC. It's really what OCC does in the back end and how that impacts the clearing firms and the member firms. How the settlement process is going to work. But from the exchange point of view, it's like our infrastructure is already operating and behaving as real-time clearing. On one hand, it could bring more efficiency because you don't have the multiple day of settlement, right? So capital is able to be freed up and moved and cleared and allocated correctly, right? I think it's amazing. It's the fact that the industry itself, how it started, where it started from, and the collection of people that have, put forward and started this industry. When you think about the amazing talent and passion for the industry and some of the uphill battles that they probably had to fight in order to make it what it is today, I think it's truly amazing. The fact that it's been able to be a long-term sustainable business in the future is looking extremely bright for the asset type. There's no shortage of smart and innovative people in this industry. And it's one of the things that I love most about my role is just interacting with participants and getting exposure to their thought process.